One time. Yeah. Three times. Four times. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Being on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bump the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peek these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up.
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause you know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop, I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. Three times for my folk that done came up. Four times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Money. Happy Thursday evening to you all. It's my favorite day of the week because I get to come here and be before you, beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. I hope that today was pleasant for you. Let me just do some Facebook things here while people are coming in. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. All right. I took care of that, but I do need to come back here, so I'm not going to close this tab. Here we go. Yeah, I'm not going to close that tab. Okay. All right. Shalom and shalom. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Shout out to everybody joining me live on TikTok. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I promise I have a good show for you, so stay tuned. Our main topic today is thugs, hoes, and rappers. I meant to like put a background thing so I could put it up on TikTok. But the topic that we're going to be talking about today is thugs, hoes, and rappers. But we're going to be relating it to Black women. Of course, the first thing we want to talk about today is, when did Black women become the new thugs? No, really, when did we become the new thugs? I posted a clip. I shared a clip this week. And one of the original comments on the clip was, now the women are messing up the events. When did it get to the point where people go to events expecting women to fight? I don't know. That's kind of scary, but we're going to talk about that after we go through some little side stories real quick. But first, please allow me to introduce myself. I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Now I'm on Snapchat. Yes, your girl is on Snapchat. Please add me on the Snap at Miss Mono's World. Thank y'all very much. Shout out to the 20-year-olds. No, how old is that child? The child that got me on Snapchat is 19. So shout out to the 19-year-old that got me on Snapchat. So Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and now Snapchat. Okay. If you are not on the YouTube, head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Like, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications, enjoy the visuals. Past podcast episodes, all things House of Mono, you will find on the YouTube at Monologue Magad. What else I want to tell y'all about? Shout out to my audience on Nasaya TV. If you have not downloaded the Nasaya TV app, please do so on your Roku, your Fire Stick, your smart TV. The Nasaya TV app, not just past episodes of mine, but just some great content over on that app. So go ahead and download that app if you have not. Okay. All right. Okay. So the first thing I wanted to talk to y'all about. Oh, thank you, boo. Thank you, baby. The first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, Blue Origin. Blue Origin, just in case you don't know, Blue Origin was the space flight. They called it a space flight, so I'm going to be respectful and call it a space flight. Blue Origin was the space flight that took place this week that, who was it? Gayle King, Katy Perry, Jeff Bezos' fiance, and Amelia Bowie were on. Gayle is offended. Gayle is offended. She said, y'all are hating on her. Let me find the article here. She says, y'all are hating on her, okay? She says that you guys are disrespectful, and even her celebrity friends are throwing shade, okay? I hate when these people, I hate when they take AAVE and try to make it theirs. Like, it just never sounds right. Okay, so let's go through the article here. Gayle King is hitting back against criticism of her brief trip to space. And so, see, now, here's my first problem, right? Because when I was younger and they were really, how can I put this? They were really telling us that they were sending real life astronauts to real life, what was supposed to be real life, outer space. Now they're just saying space. And Space is anywhere. Like there's space next to me. So you know what I'm saying? It's just the word play. It's the word play. I'll be on it. So anyway, in an interview with Extra, the CBS Morning anchor who blasted off on Monday for a celebrity studded space mission sponsored by the Jeff Bezos backed exploration company Blue Origin, said critics have merely not done enough research. I wish people would do more diligence, end quote, she said. And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Well, Gail, have you been to space? Go to space or go to Blue Origin and see what they do and come back and say this is a terrible thing. Okay, so here's the other issue. Critics, including several celebrities, however, chided the female quote unquote astronauts for aiding what they saw as a marketing play for Blue Origin's expensive flights to space and helping to put an activist sheen on a company that contributes to Earth's pollutions. But they didn't go anywhere. Okay. King said, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, right? King said she herself might have once been among those critics. I quote, I think it's good that we can really address it because I was one of those people before I went on this flight and before I became educated. She said, adding that Blue Origin's intention is more noble than she thought. Okay, and see, so here they go playing in our faces, right? You're playing in my face because you just sat here and said that before you were quote unquote educated, you would have been a critic of this program as well. What I have come to learn just through observation is usually when they mean educated, they mean indoctrinated into our way of thinking. She was convinced, and I'm guessing financially convinced, because I'm pretty sure she didn't do all this for free. So I'm guessing she was financially convinced and financially educated that this was going to be a good thing now. Okay. To figure out a way to harness the waste here and put it in space to make the Earth a better place, King said, describing her view of Blue Origin's mission. Every time a flight goes up, they get some type of information that can be used for something else. Citing GPS systems and satellites, King heralds Blue Origin as helping advance the everyday use of space technologies that humans already rely on. Jacob, wake up, shalom and shalom. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank y'all for the likes. Keep tapping that screen, you guys. Like and share the live. Thugs, hoes, and rappers fun. I see. You know what? I have to make my topics catchy because I couldn't just come here and tell y'all today we're gonna discuss proverbs and bywords and how we ended up that way. Y'all wouldn't have liked that. Thugs, hoes, and rappers. People will click on that. Okay, so. So Gail is upset that y'all not respecting her little 11 minutes in the air. And as I was reading, like I didn't want to get too much into like the technicalities of it, but I wanted to understand because like I said, when I was younger, these astronauts were always going to outer space. They weren't just going to space for 11 minutes to be weightless. And when I was looking, of course, I looked up the definition of weightless because I'm like, okay, well, at what point do you become weightless? You could be weightless anywhere. It's just a matter of falling and nothing stopping you. If I drop a pencil, the pencil is weightless. It's falling. So you see how, so basically they just went up to the sky, basically. All right. And that's why nobody's taking them seriously. She's mad because they won't address her as an astronaut. Whatever. I mean, that's like me getting mad because y'all won't address me as freaking Cinderella. It doesn't exist. So, okay. All right. So, okay. I want to, hold on. Let me figure out what order I want to do this in because I want everything to kind of slide into our main topic. Okay. Can we talk about why y'all hate Kandi Burruss so much? Can we talk about why y'all hate Kandi Burruss so much? This lady is beautiful. She is talented. She is successful. I don't understand why such the hate for her. Ever since Nene did a little interview and she said that she would rather have Ashley Darby sing for her than Kandi Burruss, all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, Kandi ain't all that anyway. how I- it's hate. It's just pure hate. Nene is not even as accomplished as Candy to comment on anything that Candy is doing, whether it be singing, whether it be acting, anything. Candy Burst is literally blowing Nene Leakes out the water. So for her to say that, I just don't like the pettiness between us. I don't understand why we can't be happy for each other. And here's what else I don't understand, right? Even if we say have some kind of tension between us, there's no reason that the rest of the world has to know about that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's all about appearances, right? It's all about appearances, as I have learned. So we as Black people, for some reason, don't even care to make it appear that we're all trying to work together, that we're all get along, that we have each other's backs. There's no kind of code of conduct. There's no kind of blanket understanding. There's none of that. We get on TV and show the world how much we actually hate each other, can't stand each other. And so why should anyone take us seriously? I don't understand that. But yeah, I mean, that the hate is just unnecessary. King 7, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get the hate. I really don't. It's just unnecessary. Okay. Black women, black women, black women. Black women, I need y'all to report to this post, please. Okay, I need y'all to report to this post because, hold on a second, let me pull this here up. Oh no, I don't. What? I sent it to myself and now I can't find it. Stop playing with me. I sent myself a clip and now I can't find it. Okay. Ouch, kabibbles. That's Wikipedia. That is not what I wanted. Scheiße. Okay. I can't find a clip I wanted to show y'all. Cool. We'll just go to the next topic. I want y'all to listen to this. And then we're gonna talk about it. That's all you got? Oh, okay. Thank you for your contribution. I want y'all to listen to this clip and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute, hold on. Where is it? Okay, here we go.
I've been cheating on him for 3 years with his best friend. We had 2 kids, 3 and 6 years old. And he could have walked away, should have walked away, could have. And when all this came out, and I hid it for 3 years in the church, when all of this came out, he looked at me and listen, a good therapist knows your feelings are valid and you can feel all of those things. He was mad. He was hurt. He was confused. He was disoriented. All those things were still true. None of that was underscored or not a part of his experience. But what was also a part of his experience, because he had been submitting and surrendering to the Lord so faithfully for so long, was he literally looked at me, and all I expected him to do was exactly what every man had done in my life, my dad, all these other men, was to leave. And instead, he looked at me and he said, Casey, I don't know how to not love you. That is when Jesus became my Lord.
Okay, see, let's talk about it. Looks like a guy. Let's talk about this, okay? Because like spiritual manipulation and abuse is real. It is really real, okay? And let me preface this by saying this. If you've been listening for a while, then you already know that I believe that men are different from women. There are physiological, psychological, emotional, physical differences between men and women that make some behaviors more reprehensible when a woman does it. Okay. I'm not saying that it's not wrong for men to have other relationships outside of their commitment. Okay. That man committed to you. He told you you was the only one or whatever y'all's understanding is. So anything outside of that understanding is a violation. I understand that. But what I'm telling you is it is even more of a violation when a woman takes that step. And to add, first of all, I'm perplexed. I'm perplexed, right? Because I can't, like, my husband would kill me. No, there would be no interview. 3 years, she cheated on her husband for 3 years. And then with his best friend, while they was all in church? Are you for real? And then okay. Because I'm just beside myself. In her interview, she says when she told him she was worried about him doing what every other man had done. Her dad, all these other men had left her, right? But here's where the manipulation comes in, because now you're conflating two totally different issues, okay? Your dad separating from your mother for whatever reason that happened had nothing to do with the man leaving you because you don't know how to keep your legs closed. These are two totally different issues. And this is the problem with a lot of feminist thinking. They like to conflate the two. And so now, oh, if I do you wrong and you leave me, then you're just like everyone else. Instead of, no, you acted up. You deserve to get left. And so this person is leaving with their dignity and self-respect. That's never the spin. The spin is always, oh, all the men in my life leave me. Well, if you've been a whore all your life, why would you expect any man to stick around? Okay, so that, and then she's like, oh, he said he doesn't not know how to love me, and that's when Jesus became my Lord. First of all, the Bible tells a man that if his woman commits adultery, he's to put her away and never to lay with her again. So I'm not understanding how we took your adultery, and because your husband forgave you for adultery, now Jesus is Lord? I don't like that. I don't like that. Because you're sitting here telling women, oh, you should treat men any kind of way you want to treat them. And if he really has Jesus in his heart, he's going to love you anyway. And see, that's the same kind of crap that chauvinists like to tell women. Oh, you should just stay. You know, that's your husband. You just stay and do whatever he wants you to do and let him treat you any kind of way. And it's all right because it's the same kind of rhetoric, but now it's a woman telling other women, yeah, girl, I cheated on my husband for 3 years with his best friend and he forgave me. Listen, I am a person that feels that there should be decency in all things, okay? And so even if you do decide to step out, first of all, with his best friend for 3 years, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't know if I could respect a man that would take me back after that. I'm gonna keep it funky with you. Like, how much lower could you go? What's lower? Sleeping with his father, sleeping with a blood relative could only be the next worst thing that you could do. Please do not let these women get in your head and give you these messed up stories and these jacked up antidotes and feel like you can apply that to your life. You will be out here lonely, single, and bitter. Please, I'm imploring you, ladies. I'm not saying we don't have daddy issues or none of that. Right? It's wild, isn't it? Brianna, shalom and shalom, sis. Oh, thank you so much. No, Jesus don't have nothing to do with that at all. At all. So please, y'all, don't listen to this madness and then go out here looking for a man and feeling like that's some kind of like quality or standard that you want in a man. Because I don't want a man with no standards. I don't want a man who can't put his foot down. I don't want a man that can't toe the line. And I don't want a man that will let me do him like that. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm not gonna respect you. I'm not going to respect you. You'll forever be a trick to me. I could sleep with your best friend for 3 years and you still gonna take me back? And let me tell y'all something, right? Because y'all might be like, oh, well, you know, love don't just go away like that. No, love does not go away like that. But dang on it, your self-respect has to kick in at some point. It's not enough for you to love a person. That person has to love you back. And if someone sleeps with your best friend for 3 years, they don't love you. Okay? I love chocolate. That don't mean I can have it all the time and do what I want to do with it. So please, y'all, don't keep your eyes open for spiritual manipulation like that. And sisters, men do it too. You're going to leave me just like all them other women did? Yes, I sure am, because you just trash right now and I'm not going to subject myself to that. Yes, I am. No, if you was a real woman of God, you would stay. Listen, nowhere in the Bible does it say that I have to let you beat on me, cheat on me, disrespect me, make me feel bad about myself, or nothing like that. Nowhere, no, it does not say that. Sorry, the suffering for love is not my story. And stop falling for it. Stand on it and skedaddle. Don't do that. That's crazy to me. All right, y'all. Oh my gosh, this tea is so good. Okay. I don't know how many of y'all keep up with Real Housewives of Atlanta. But when this happened, it was crazy, okay? For those of you who don't know, the lady in orange on my left, so I guess it would be your right, is Kenya Moore. The lady in the stripes, her name is Britt Eady, okay? There's a confrontation between these two ladies. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. There's a confrontation between these two women. The lady in the gold threatened the lady in the orange, like, oh, I keep a pistol on me. She didn't pull out anything or whatever, but that was what was said. Okay. The next thing that we see, the lady in the orange, Kenya, is hosting an event. First of all, she's hosting the grand opening of her brand new hair spa. Okay. As she's hosting the event, Britt walks in to apologize, hands her this beautiful bouquet of actually they were like potted lilies, I think. So freaking pretty. She had a card in there. So she hands her the flowers in a card. She's like, I just wanted to apologize. Kenya's hearing none of it. She's hearing none of it. She's walking away. As she goes to address her audience, she starts to pull out these presentations, when you used to do the literature in school and you put it on the poster board. Yeah, so there's these poster boards. Now they put it out for us. We couldn't see what was on the posters on TV. Apparently, though, there were some images of the lady in the gold in a compromising position that was shown to everybody that was at this event. Okay. And of course, the backlash was fierce because revenge corn is never okay. That is never okay. Kenya was fired. You know, we see Brit upset, blah, 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 blah. I'm bringing this to y'all because there's a few things that I feel like we can learn from this situation, okay? First of all, we as women, when we feel like we have something to prove to someone, we tend to take things too far. We take it way too far, right? And what I mean is, as soon as, if I was Kenya, as soon as she would have threatened me, talking about, oh, she had a pistol, baby, I would have been terrified. I would have been scared for my life. I would have been screaming, crying, and hollering. Internet. I would have went to Bravo. I would have went to the people and every kind of emotion that I could. Now, here's the thing. Kenya is known for being a bully. She's known for being a bully. She's known for being very aggressive, okay? And so this is what I'm saying about us. Especially those of us who feel like we got a reputation, like, oh, we tough, don't nobody mess with me, da 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 da. You bring a hammer when really a tissue is what's needed. Because now I would have been crying. I would have fell back on my tears. What do you mean? How dare you threaten me? I'm a single mother with a child that I'm supporting on my own. How can this Black woman threaten me, another Black woman, and threaten my life? And then Brit would have been the one to be fired. She would have either been fired, she would have been publicly canceled and not welcome back next season. Like, she could have totally destroyed her or let her words destroy herself. But instead of doing that, she felt like, oh no, you're not gonna, I don't know, like outdo me, out threaten me, out harass me. You're not gonna embarrass me. I don't know, like what level of anger and vitriol would lead her to do that. Okay, but she takes it too far. And now, instead of having the redemption that could come from playing the victim role, now she's the bully. She cemented herself as this horrible person. You know, and there are people trying to defend this behavior. Listen, I'm going to say this. We all have our past. Okay, if you dig hard enough and look long enough and know the right people, you can find something on just about anybody. So it's never okay. It's never okay. Like that is so not cool. You don't expose somebody like this. You don't drag them out like this in the public for everybody to see. For what? How was that vindicating Kenya in that moment? And so I want us to start thinking about this, especially not so much, not just when we deal with other women, but when we're dealing with our men, okay? When we're dealing with our men, I need y'all to start thinking about this, because a lot of time you want to try to fight masculine energy with masculine energy. And you're like, when am I being masculine? Listen, when a man is being emotional or raising his voice or coming at you in an unpleasant feeling and you try to match that energy, you are now trying to match masculine for masculine. And you're never going to win in that situation because you're never going to be stronger than him. So this is the moment when you fall on your status as the weaker vessel. And you immediately start crying. Are you kidding? Listen, if some man that I don't know is confronting me or causing me a problem, I'm going to be crying. Heck, if I cry in front of my husband, I don't care. Like, yes, when did we get to the point where we as women feel like we can't show our emotions? Like, I get it's dangerous out here. I get it's people always trying to take advantage of you. But for real, like, y'all gotta like be in the moment that you're in. I can't tell you how many tickets I have gotten out of just by smiling and being nice. And I can tell the difference because when I'm in a bad mood and I'm not social like that, I always get a ticket. Well, used to. I don't even get, I haven't gotten a ticket in years. But back in my days, When I'm not social, always. When I'm social and smiling and, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, officer. Da, da, da. Okay, I'm going to just let you off with a warning and go on about my business. We as women have weapons at our disposal. But the problem is, instead of us figuring out how God intended us to use what he gave us, we're so busy trying to be like men and we're missing the mark. We're totally messing everything up, right? Because if something only calls for a gentle touch and you hit it with a hammer, you're destroying everything. Right? So I just want y'all to think about that. Just think about the pressure you're applying, when you're applying the pressure. Oh, thank y'all for the love on the bun. I guess I'm going to have to keep the bun in rotation. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. All right, y'all. Listen, I don't know how many of y'all are on TikTok, and I haven't seen it on any other social networks, okay? But so on TikTok, the Chinese have been spilling all the tea, alleged tea, on the suppliers, telling you where you can get this stuff from, showing you how it's made. But the fact of the matter is, like, we already knew that. Like, they've been telling us for years that the designers, use the same materials and they just upmarket because of the label and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm not sure what we think is supposed to happen because the Chinese are telling us this information. Because I'm not going to lie, like, me and my husband went on a couple other sites, but they're all in, I'm assuming, Mandarin. So how is this helping me? How are you helping me by sharing this information? First of all. Second of all, let me tell y'all why no matter how much exposing goes on, high fashion is going nowhere. High fashion, luxury fashion, it's going nowhere. It is a long established status symbol. Okay? What you have to understand about status symbols are the way that you let the world know what level what socioeconomic level you've made it to, or that you can at least look like you made it to. All right, because we know plenty of people that'll walk around here in Gucci and Balenciaga and Balmain and all this other stuff, and then go home to less than suitable living conditions. And all I'm saying is, if your jacket costs $2,000, you shouldn't be afraid to wear it when you get out the car to walk to your house. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so, from our beginning, like, of course, I was interested in the effects of status symbols on Black people, why they matter so much to us. And so from our tribal beginnings, if you will, status symbols were given, whether it be clothing, whether it be stones, whether it be how your housing is built. There were different symbols to let different people know how important you were. Right. And so when you take people who have been through the oppression that we have, you're talking about a transatlantic slave trade, then you're coming over here, and now we're stripped of everything. There's no kings, there's no chief, there's no priest, there's no nothing. You're just a person. Okay. And so now, when you have some of the enslaved people who are picked to be put in better positions than others, you see the reemergence of these status symbols, even if it's a symbol of, I get to live in the house. Or, my clothes are a little bit better than yours. I don't have to work out in the field. Okay, so these are the beginnings of our American status symbols. And then as we go through Reconstruction, civil rights, we're able to acquire status symbols that other people get to enjoy. Now we can get the high fashion, and you can see where we've ended up now. I remember when music just used to be music. Michael Jackson wasn't throwing around name brands in his songs. Like when you used to listen to Salt and Pepper, DJ Hurt, Kool Mo D, Big Daddy Kane. I mean, like way back, Rob Bass and them. They wasn't talking about no brands in their songs. It was just Milk is chilling, Giz is chilling. What more can I say? Top billing. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just a flow. It was either a party song or a gangster song. It wasn't about all this. Look what I got more than you. I'm better than you. You broke. It wasn't all of that. Okay, as we see the progression through the 90s, now you're coming with that conspicuous consumption in your rap lyrics. And I'm going to say more so for me when you look at women like Little Kim and Foxy Brown, who came in and totally took us like in a different direction from like Yo, Lady of Rage, Salt and Pepper, Roxanne Shante. Like these women were just rapping. You know what I'm saying? They were rapping like the dudes was rapping. Right, but then you have this Little Kim, Foxy Brown, hypersexualized, luxury-driven type of music that's influencing us now. Okay, so you got something for the women, you got something for the men. And ever since then, we have been in a chokehold to these luxury brand houses that have been around. Some of these houses go back as far as the 16th century. I've read some of these houses go back as far as Louis the 14th. Okay. So these luxury houses have been around. They're not going anywhere. Louis Vuitton does not care how much you try to expose Hermes, how much you want to expose Balenciaga or anything like that. And the people who can, let me say it like this. In order to get, there's a trunk that you can get from Louis Vuitton. It's like a replica of their first trunks. I know you guys have seen them on TV or whatever, but it's like airtight. You can close it, lock it up, put everything in there, and it'll be kept safe. They have to vet you and approve you before you can even come to the store to buy this trunk. It's like over $100,000. Okay. You have to apply. They have to check your background. They got to make sure you can afford it and everything else. And this is why these things are never going anywhere, because the people that can afford the super, super high end stuff understand that as long as I have this, I'm signaling to the world that I'm better than you. And so while we hear the 99%, no, I can't even say that, because we're not about to do that. Y'all are not. I can speak for myself. I'm still gonna pay for them Nikes. I'm still gonna pay for the Coach bag. I'm going to pay for what I want. So it's not, the world is not gonna wake up tomorrow in a fashion revolution and everybody's just like, oh, forget it. It doesn't matter anymore. That's just never going to happen. There's too much money invested in fashion. And that's what I had to realize, like with art, right? Because why is art so expensive? Why are they able to auction off paintings for millions and millions of dollars? People have there is generational wealth invested in these things, fashion, art, the history you see, the quote unquote things that we consider culture. You're talking about people investing generational wealth in these things. They're not about to let all of their wealth go for nothing. The destruction of fashion, people not wanting high fashion, people not clamoring to be exclusive. It's almost a $300 billion industry. They don't care what the Chinese do. They're not about to let that fall. So yeah, don't get excited. The Chinese suppliers getting on TikTok, they're not doing us any favors. They're not doing us any favors. It's like two siblings catching beef and you an outsider. You know good and well you don't get in between two siblings when they beefing. If you friends with two sisters, that's a family business. You don't get into that. Because if you do, then they're gonna turn on you and you're gonna be looking crazy. And that's the same thing that's gonna happen to us. If y'all think y'all about to go over there and start shopping in China and everything else, you're gonna be the one looking crazy. Okay? All right. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. What's up to the folks on TikTok? All right, y'all, let's get to our main topic, okay? When did the topic is thugs, hoes, and rappers. Okay. And I want to just take you on a brief little journey about where the whole idea of even being a thug came from, or where it came from. I'm gonna share my screen with y'all so y'all can see what I'm reading and read along, okay? Let's see, here it is. Okay. All right, so the term thug comes from thuggy, okay? Now, thuggy is a name given to alleged thugs who supposedly were historical organized cults of professional robbers and murderers in India. They are said to have traveled in groups across the Indian subcontinent. They are purported to have murdered their victims by strangling using a bandana as a tool. How crazy is it that these thugs were using bandanas in gang members, okay? The Thuggee were believed to practice their killings as a form of worship toward the goddess Kali. If you're not familiar with Kali, she's a Hindu goddess. She's like one of their main goddesses. She's like the goddess of death and darkness and life and all this other weird stuff. Okay. For centuries, authorities of the Indian subcontinent attempted to curtail the criminal activity of the Thuggee during their rule. Okay, so Thuggee, translated from Hindi as swindler or deceiver, is related to the verb thugna, to deceive. Okay, so this is like in ancient language. The term thug is nothing new, okay? The Thuggee reportedly operated as gangs of highwaymen who tricked and murdered their victims by strangling. To take advantage of their victims, the thugs would join travelers and gain their confidence, which would allow them to surprise and strangle the travelers with a handkerchief or a noose. Okay, so this is where the term thug even comes from. Okay, it's never been a term of endearment. It's never been something to be desired to be called. Okay. And I know we've tried to reclaim the word thug and all this stuff, but it's not, no, okay, no. So, let's take a little walk, because how do we get from, my next question was, how do we get from thuggy to the thugs that we have today, right? Okay. So, first of all, that's what I meant to talk about first. Okay, let's back up, right? Let's back up. Because thug is what's known as a byword, right? A byword. Bywords are, I don't want to say like nicknames, but they're other off-putting terms for people, right? Gangster, right? Or the N-word, or some other terms that that I'm not going to say on here, but can be derogatory, okay? So thug is considered one of those terms. Well, why is the word thug mostly related to Black people? The Bible talks to us about becoming a proverb and a byword. Okay. Deuteronomy 28:37. You shall become a horror, a proverb, and a byword among all the people where the Lord will lead you. Okay. 1 Kings 9:7. I will cut Israel off from the land I have given them, and the house that I have consecrated for my name I will cast out of my sight, and Israel will become a proverb and a byword among all people. Okay. Again in 2 Chronicles, and Jeremiah and Ezekiel, we are constantly warned that as a result of our disobedience, we will become a proverb and a byword. They will not know us as Israelites. They will know us as slaves. They will know us as thugs. They will know us as monkeys. They will know us as whatever else they can think to call us. Local rappers, okay? All these other what they call dog whistle terms for black people. And it's called a dog whistle because they say that dogs can hear things that humans can't, right? And so it's a dog whistle because if you're standing in a crowd of not black people and you start throwing around terms like thug and girl and boy, they might not catch it. They might be like, oh, we're just having a conversation. But a black person will understand that you are being offensive. Okay. So that's why it's called dog whistle. Or you've heard the term dog whistle racism. That's where it comes from. Okay. So, hold on, let me go back to my thug information. All right. Okay. So, when you talk about the term thug, and I'm going to get through this, I'm going somewhere. Y'all just sit with me. I just have to lay a little bit of background so we understand why it's a problem to be called a thug. Because, through the attempted reclamation of the word, you might be under the assumption that to be called a thug is not a big deal. So I'm going to explain to you why it is and why it's not to be desired. Okay, so early 20th century, after the British had to deal with the thuggy in India, they started using the term thug for vagrants of any background. English, American, whatever. 1920s to 1940s, it was used for Union strikers, mafia members, and outlaws of any kind. So Bonnie and Clyde, Al Capone, the crime families, okay? They were referred to as thugs. 1960s to 1970s, the civil rights movement is growing. The Black Panther Party starts to be called violent thugs. Okay, this is where you see the term thug start to be connected to race. Thank you for the follow. 1980s to 1990s, the war on drugs and the super predator allow for the media to start addressing the crack dealers who happen to be all black as thugs. Okay. Meanwhile, everyone else is a victim, but black drug addicts, black drug dealers, they're all thugs. Okay. So, come up to the 90s, you have rappers like Tupac trying to reclaim the term thug and, thug life and all this other stuff, trying to make it like okay to be called a thug, right? In the 2000s, now the term thug being a dog whistle term is just all over the place. 2012 with Trayvon Martin, 2014 in the Ferguson protest, the Fox News is always Fox News. We're calling the rioters and demonstrators thugs. Freddie Gray protesters were labeled as thugs. Studies show that black men are 3 times more likely to be called thugs in the media for the same actions as whites. Okay, so hear what I'm saying. Then what were the handlers called? Exactly. They weren't called thugs. They were just fentanyl dealers, meth dealers, opioid dealers. Heck, doctors. Okay, it was the doctors. But so I wanted to run through all that so that you guys can understand that it's no accident that the term thug has become to be associated with black people. That is their code word for us, okay? They love putting black people as the head and face of everything. Everything, be it good or be it bad, they're gonna make us a symbol for it. And I hate that we keep lending ourselves to that. Right? A lot of it is us lending ourselves to it because there's always going to be 1 or 2 Negroes that don't mind playing a role, unfortunately. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is black women as the new thugs. right? Because everything I've read to you so far is male slanted. I mentioned the Black Panthers. You usually think of men when you think of the Black Panthers. Trayvon Martin, Freddie Gray, may they rest in peace. They're described as thugs. The protesters, it's like, it's usually a male-centered conversation when you're coming to the term thug. Like, you didn't, like, when they were talking about Sandra Bland, you didn't really hear her being described as a thug. You understand what I'm saying? You don't really hear, like, Breonna Taylor. They didn't describe her as a thug. Okay. But now we're to a point where when I scroll my social media feed and I see a fight video, 9 out of 10 is Black women in the video. All right. And I'm not talking about simple little one-on-one kerfuffles. I'm not talking about little windmill, Whitley and Kim in the dorm room. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, y'all is out here straight up scrapping. Like, y'all are getting down in these streets. What happened to us? What happened to Black women to the point where we just have no emotional intelligence, no articulation? It's like we've forgotten how to intelligently express ourselves, and so we will just resort to brute violence, right? And here's the thing we have to understand as Black people, because you might be like, well, we're not all like that. No, but the rest of the world focuses on the lowest factor among us. I was listening to a video today, and it was talking about how Hollywood will never let too many positive images of Black people make it out into the media, because that is not what sells. What sells is derogatory and disparaging images of Black people. So you either got to be the drug dealer, you got to be the abusive single mom, you have to be some form of dysfunction. You never see two strong, healthy, respectful Black people in a normal, real life TV show, right? The last time we saw this was Blackish. And here's my problem with shows like Blackish. It gives the idea that only certain educated, certain socioeconomically inclined Black people know how to act. Remember, Bo was a doctor and Audrey worked for an advertising company, and they both had degrees. And we can't, like, it can't be that our definition of Black excellence is so fixed and so nuanced and so ingrained into what other people want from us that we forget about the rest of us. We can't be so fixated on those of us with the degrees, those of us who made it out the hood, those, the suburban. We can't be so fixated on that we don't focus on what's going on, because that affects us. It affects us. Come on, like, how it is. One Black person does it and all Black people are responsible for it. Right? So then at what point did we become the new thugs? Right? Because I remember in the 90s when you had rappers like Yo-Yo, you had rappers like Lady of Rage coming out, right? And they were hanging with the boys. They were hanging with the dudes, but they still had a bit of femininity to them. Like, they still kind of presented themselves as ladies. You know what I'm saying? But now, these girls don't care. And they call it being a crash out to kind of make it sound cute. But it's not cute at all. The prison population of Black women has continued to steadily increase since the 1960s. Even though we only make up, I want to say it said 13% of the population, we're like 44% of the jail population. And of course, the number of Black women incarcerated is double the number of white women incarcerated. It's higher than the number of Mexican women incarcerated. There was a time when women were okay playing the back. Like, you were okay just being a support system. You didn't feel the need to be out there competing with the guys and doing everything that the guys do. And so thank you so much for the likes. Thank you for the gift. You didn't need to be out there doing what the guys were doing. Okay. I remember growing up in Georgia, you know, you had you had gangs. I didn't take any of it seriously because that wasn't my story. You know what I'm saying? You had gangs or whatever. You had girls that were in gangs, right? And back then, which I'm sure probably is still now, there were only two ways to get in a gang. You could either let them run a train on you or you could get jumped in. Okay. Now, I don't understand for the life of me why anyone is so desperate to be a part of any group that they would let these things occur to them. But here we are. And as I was reading reports on the increasing number of Black women that have been incarcerated, it talks about the increasing number of Black women that are involved in gang activities and that are involved in drug trafficking, and how women are more often put on the front because, you know, that's usually not who the people are paying attention to. They're usually not paying attention to the women. But the rates of incarceration are showing that that clearly isn't working anymore. So what happened to us? We are not called to be, we're not called to be barbarians. We are not called to be strong. We're not called to be on the front line of anything. You are a helpmeet. Your role is one of support. Okay? There's no reason, unless someone has put their hands on you or they are close enough to you that you feel that they are a threat to you, for you to put your hands on anyone else. We've got to stop condoning this. And we try to say little things to make it sound cute, like, oh, I would never, and I know she didn't. Don't let them try you like that, and da 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 da. But we are living in a day and time where a don't let them try you like that can end up with someone in a casket. And so I think we even have to be careful of how we talk to each other, right? Because you might think that me and you was just having a conversation and we just talking whole time. I'm putting a battery in your back and you go out here and do something crazy. I don't know how to explain the emotional turmoil that we as Black women are in now. I think a lot of it has to do with us being misled by these feminine movements and being pulled away from our original purpose. When you don't know the purpose for something, you have no choice but to misuse it because you don't know what it's for. If I'm using a chair as a ladder, I'm misusing that chair. The chair is not for me to stand in with my feet. It's for me to sit in with my behind. So us as women, we've been pulled away from our role by being told over and over again, marriage is slavery. Being a mom is so terrible. All men are worthless. You should just be out here by yourself. I strongly feel that we were never meant to be alone. I strongly feel that. We were never meant to be alone, especially not us as women out here in a world that is dominated by men. That's just not safe, okay? So we as women being pulled away from our original purpose, now we are trying to find ourselves, right? Because listen, if I come up to the job and they give me a description of the job and they say, okay, be here from this time to this time, and in between those hours, this is what you're going to do. Okay, I'm here. I know what I'm going to do. If you walk into a job and they don't tell you what to do, you're just going to wander. You're going to wander, you're going to mess things up, you're going to look around, you're going to disturb other people that are working, you're going to cause a mess, you're going to cause confusion. And so this is what happens when you have people, women in particular, out here without a purpose and without a goal. And I say women in particular because y'all can deny y'all's power as a woman all you want to, but I'm not in denial of my power as a woman to shape and guide the lives of the men around me, my husband, my sons. Oh my goodness, hold on, y'all. They have made this thing so hard. What the heck is a hull? I don't know. They have made these little confirmation things so hard. I promise I'm not a robot. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry about that, y'all. So now we're lost. We don't know what our purpose is. And so we have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea what we're for. We have no thought for the future. We have nothing to look forward to. You're wandering. A person without a goal is just wandering. You know how they say like a dream without a deadline is just what they say, a goal without a deadline is just a dream or whatever. Well, what if you don't even have any goals or dreams? You're just useless. You're useless. Okay. I don't know how many of you guys have ever had the displeasure of living in the hood. And it's definitely a displeasure. But think about the life of a woman. Think about the life of a woman with no job, no education, but her housing is paid for, her food is paid for, she's able to keep a few clothes, for her. She probably has kids. And so last week when we talked about the Universe 25 experiment and how they put all the rats together in the living quarters or whatever, but they gave them enough food and enough water to keep themselves alive. And how we talked about how eventually the rats became useless, like the males stopped trying to have sex, the girls stopped getting pregnant, they resorted to violence, they didn't know how to act with each other. Okay, remember we talked about that. And so I want y'all to think about that when you think about women who are on Section 8, and this is no shade to anybody on Section 8, okay? It's no shade to anybody on Section 8 because a lot of women on Section 8 are working their way out. Okay, I know a lot of women that use that Section 8 to get through college and boom, boom, they go on about their business, okay? I'm talking about the ones on Section 8 who have no thought, no intention, no hopes or dreams of getting off, and they're just fine paying $25 rent for the rest of their life. So they're on Section 8. Their living is paid for. Their food is paid for. They get a little TANF for clothes. They have nothing else to do with their life or their time. They have nothing else to talk about. So what do you talk about? When you don't leave your block all day and all night, you on the same block with the same people doing the same thing over and over again. And we're not talking about anything constructive. Y'all standing outside, smoking, drinking, talking about everybody, talking about the people that got up and went to work that day. And so when a problem arises, there's no thought of, oh, what could I lose? There's no thought of, oh, I'm going to go to jail and be taken away. You don't think of these things. You don't see the things around you as valuable and things to be lost because you never had to gain them in the first place. They say that's the danger of giving people money. Like, if they don't know the value of it, then they'll just run through it. It's inconsequential to them. And so, if, they've been handed everything. So when a conflict arises, there's no, oh, let me back up before I get in trouble. There's no, oh, let me chill out. I gotta, make sure I gotta stay here for my kids. There's no thought of this. It's only the thought of the moment. And honestly, I, as a grown woman, do not know how to explain the mindset of another grown woman that would get out here and scrap. And you want to know how easy it is to find it? I know y'all think like, oh, she just making this up. She just exaggerating, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to share my screen with y'all so y'all can see this. Right, Brian. So it takes two. Keep the chef, Shalom and Shalom. Thank you for joining me. All right, I'm going to share my Google screen with you, okay? And let's look up Black women fighting. Black women fighting. What's the first video that pops up? Let's take a look. Watch, fighting involving groups of girls. Latest example of crime in downtown Memphis. These are girls. These are girls. Do y'all see this?
Of a fight between a
Hold on. Let's look at it.
Violence in downtown Memphis continues, from shootings to carjackings, car break-ins, and more. We've reported on just how dangerous things are becoming downtown. Now comes new video that you see right here of a fight between a group of girls.
That video has people questioning whether safety measures are.
I mean, it is so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. Hold on. Let's go back. I want to pull up the rest of the Google. I was trying to pull up the rest of the Google list. Here we go. Black woman fighting. Nope, where was it? Okay, here we go. Angry African women fighting. Body cam video shows the altercation between a police officer and a black woman. 2,341 black women fighting images. Are you for real? Do you see? I'm not like, I want y'all to understand, I'm not making this up. I'm not just exaggerating like, oh, I'm not just trying to take it out of context. I'm trying to understand where we got to the point where fighting in the street is a choice. That's something that we're doing. This is how we choose to represent ourselves to the world. We've become the new thugs. We've become the new drug dealers. Don't get me wrong. I like Raising Kanan. I watch it a lot. But freaking Rock is the worst example of womanhood, motherhood that I have seen in a very long time. And see, here's the problem, right? Because even if you're like, oh, well, she's supposed to be presented as a bad mom. She's supposed to be presented in a bad light. When you take anything and you put it in high fashion and luxury fashion and high-end cars, immature minds cannot tell the difference. Think about the idea. One of the ideas that this country was found on is the fact that God blesses you by making you rich. The Rockefellers, the Carnegies, I'm trying to think who else. The robber barons, okay? If you've ever studied these guys, and if y'all would pay attention in school, you would know who I'm talking about. But if you ever studied these guys, this was their slogan, if you will. This was how they justified being millionaires during times of the Depression. This is how they justified not supporting labor unions. This is how they justified being so hard on their employees. It was because God had blessed them and put them in this position of power and wealth. And something must be wrong with you because you're poor and you're working for me. Okay, please don't think that thinking has ever been taken out of the fabric of this place. And so now here we are with social media and TV and film and streaming services where we can dress up dysfunctional black women in Gucci and sit them in a Land Rover, Benz, Range Rover, Rolls Royce, whatever. And young black girls will think that this is the behavior they're supposed to emulate. And not just young black girls, but broken older black women as well. They will look at this and say, "Ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh." I don't even know if the dysfunction enters their mind. I think they're just looking at the image and thinking, "Ooh, I want to live like that." Imagine someone living in squalor, looking at, the television, and they see all these penthouses and high rises and McMansions and mini mansions and everything else. All they're thinking is, what do I have to do to get there? And so you have women like Kenya Moore who are put on pedestals, and so is her dysfunction. You understand what I'm saying? Like, these people aren't separated from their dysfunction, especially now in this new medium of reality TV. You have women like Portia Williams, who's beautiful. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the girl is gorgeous, okay? I mean, body is tea and everything else, but she's so freaking dysfunctional and so messed up in the head. She can't have a decent relationship with anyone. But these are the kind of women that are held up for black women to look up to and to admire. And what's the first thing on these reality shows that happens? Somebody popping off, somebody getting to a fight. It's drama. Somebody spilling tea, somebody plotting revenge. It's all this nasty, mediocre behavior that may not matter in the grand scheme of someone who's choosing to do this for a living. But when you're displaying this behavior to someone who is misled and looking for answers, that's destructive. It is destructive. We don't come from strong families anymore where, I can turn off the TV, but I'm going to go downstairs in the kitchen and see my mom in there taking care of my dad, and see my dad going off to work every day and him coming home and loving on my mom, and my mom is loving on my dad, and we're a happy family and we pray together, we have meals together. We don't have the family structure to counteract the damage that is brought into our homes by the media. We just don't have it. And I understand what you're saying, like, well, what can we do? We can't do anything about TV. No, we can't do anything about TV at all. I will say this. Trying to spread my message on social media has shown me that people really don't want good news. They don't want good news. They want the salacious. They want the drama. I post. Look at my TikTok feed. It's gardening, it's family, it's the chickens, it's the kids, it's me, you know what I'm saying, making little commentary or whatever. But the moment that I posted about the Real Housewives drama, that video went out of there. And come on. Do we really want to be uplifted? Do we really want positive and uplifting messages? It's easy for black women to claim that church didn't work for them, to claim that God didn't work for them, and to turn over to the crystals and the horoscopes and the smudging and anything else that they can think of that they think will allow them to have the kind of life that they want, but will not require anything of them. Okay? A lot of black women have a problem with God being a man because he has requirements from them. I guarantee you, if they could really prove that God was a woman, they would probably have no problem keeping the laws and the commandments. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I've actually heard them say this. I'm not going to let no man tell me what to do. And I just be flabbergasted because are you that simple-minded that you've reduced God to just a man? And your hatred for men is so vehement that you would deny your creator? Are you for real? But this is where we are. And why am I mentioning God? What does God have to do with this? There's no other way out for us. Where's all your manifestation gotten you? And see, here's the thing, right? If your religion or your answer or your belief system is only working for you, what the heck is that? Why are you prescribing that for other people if it's only supposed to work for you? Returning to the ways of God is the only answer. There's nothing else that's going to fix us. There's no other way to make this right. We are prisoners of war in a land that was founded on violence. The very establishment of the system that we live under now, that was started in 1776 with the Declaration of Independence officially, was one that was founded on the pillaging, the stealing, the raping, and the murdering of people groups. Not just individuals, people groups, families. There are tribes of Native Americans that have been wiped out. How many million lives were lost in the transatlantic slave trade? The system that we are under that governs our lives has blood on its hands. And if you continue to comply with this system, you are co-signing this behavior. There's no way you can. Just like black people crying, oh, we need representation in Hollywood. We need representation in Hollywood. Okay, we're going to represent you the way we want you represented, whore, drug dealer, gun runner, coke smuggler, abusive single mom, dysfunctional beast. You don't get to come to my party and tell me what to do at my party. If you want, and then here's the thing, you weren't even invited to the party. Because let's go back. We always talk about how after Reconstruction and before the Civil Rights Movement, black people were in a much better position. We had 66% of black children were born in wedlock at that time. You had strong black families. The crime rate was down. But ever since we've been integrated into this system, we've lost our families, we've lost our fathers, we've lost our mothers, and now our children are being lost to the streets. When are we as women going to turn around and say it's enough? When are we going to put our foot down and say, no, it has to stop here? Listen, I really feel like the women have to put up the spiritual front before the men can physically carry it out. As above, so below. If you bind it on earth, I'll bind it in heaven. If you loose it on earth, I'll loose it in heaven. We so busy out here trying to be the one, trying to be the star, trying to ball out, trying to show everybody, trying to compete for some kind of acknowledgement, some kind of reward from this world, when the Bible tells us that to have the love of the world is to have beef with God, basically. Let me get to y'all's comments because this is funny. Hold on. Don't want uplifting messages or guidance. No, they don't. If I was sitting here with a deck of cards and reading a deck of cards, they would love that. If I was sitting here in front of a crystal ball and, ooh, let me tell you your future, sure, they'd be all for that. But the moment that I tell you that the blessings of God require your obedience, you don't want to hear that. That's not what they want to hear. Martin had his own dream, should have stayed in bed. That's one dream that didn't need to be had. When will we as a people learn that whenever we take on the behavior of others, it is always to our destruction? From Mount Sinai, when Moses came down and y'all had burnt the earrings in the rings, because it wasn't my ancestors. My great-great-grandma and them was over there somewhere praying. I know they was. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, he come down and y'all worshiping a golden calf? And then he had to go up there and ask God not to strike y'all down, not to take y'all all out. Every time you get with another group of people and you take on their God, it only leads to our destruction. Why do we keep doing the same thing over and over again? Don't you get it that you are not ever going to be the star? Y'all want to be the next Cardi B, the next Meg Thee Stallion, the next Glorilla so bad. And baby, I'm here to tell you that that is not your story. You can look at Glorilla all day and be like, oh, she's so anointed. I know God got his hands on her. Listen, that is between her and her God. That has nothing to do with you. And I need you to stop thinking that the way of the world is the answer. It does not matter how many millions of billions of trillions of dollars you have if you cannot look yourself in the mirror when you wake up in the morning. And please understand that a lot of these women that y'all out here idolizing are nothing but high-priced hoes. We'll talk about hoes next week. But a lot of these women that y'all are out here idolizing and acting like they just the tea and everything else, they're hoes. They're, escorts, if you will. They're out here in disgusting, deplorable situations that you, in your state of mind right now, could not fathom. Oh my God, that is so nasty. Why would you do that? Ew, that's gross. But if somebody sit a couple of stacks in front of you, your story will be different. I know a lot of y'all right now, let somebody put $10,000 in front of you, you are going to freaking go buck and lose your mind. And that is why some of y'all prayers should be, God, just keep me out of those situations. Keep me away from those people. This is why I'm always so on my kids about being very, very careful about split-second decisions and about the people that you hang around. Ladies, your women's intuition is not just to tell you when he cheating on you, when to go through his phone or whatever. Your women's intuition, that discernment that you like to tout so much about, is to also tell you to run away. Run away. I can admit to y'all that one of my problems is I don't hear the Lord tell me to run away. But I be like, it can't be that bad. God, you tripping. What you mean? What you mean run away? Come on, look at him. He cute. This is going to be fun. And every time I wound it up on my behind, crying, struggling, wondering, why me? What happened to me? Woe is me. Trying to be fake manipulative like that lady in the video earlier. All the men in my life leave me. Nah, man. Listen, I was out there. There was a time I ain't had no respect for nobody. I didn't care. It was all about me. You can't be lukewarm. Y'all want to have one foot in the church and one foot in the world, right? We live in a time where, and I'm not saying it's ever been safe to do that. It's never been safe to do that because God always said, well, I'll spit you out. Be cold or hot, I'll spit you out. Right? But we live in a time, man, it's some stuff out here that you might not come back from. If you come back. If you come back. These people out here not playing with you. I don't argue with nobody. Listen, I was pulling up to this coffee place, Eliano's or something like that. I forgot what it's called. But it's drive-through only. It's 2 drive-throughs, right? I didn't know that. This is my first time there. I get out the car. I walk around, no door. Okay, let me get back in my car. So I get back in my car, go to the drive-through. I pull up. Somebody pulls up right here at the same time, but I'm in front of them in the line. Okay, I'm behind the car. The car in front of me moves. I move. This heifer blows her horn at me. I was here first. Like, no, I was here first. I'm in front of you. I was here first. Da 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 da. I was like, you know what? No problem. I backed my car up and I went around to the other line. First of all, I'm not arguing with you about a spot in a freaking drive-through. Secondly, what you're not about to do is think you're going to record me and have me on the internet looking crazy, because all you're going to do is post the part where I'm going off on you and not explain to people what you did to provoke me. Okay, I'm not doing all that. And third of all, I know what I got in my car. I don't know what you got in your car, but I do know that I live in Georgia and it is an open carry state. All right. So, and none of that, nothing in this coffee shop is worth what could happen. So let me just back up my car and go around to the other side. And then lo and behold, I got done before her anyway. So, but I'm saying that to say, like, listen, y'all know these people these days is playing with a different deck of cards. Like back in our day, you fight, you go home, and that's it. Y'all might be friends next week or something else. But no, honey, they are pew-pewing people out here these days. They are straight up shooting. Ain't no more fights. Running people over with I mean, it's all kind of crazy stuff going on. And you out here trying to be big and bad, and then you're going to have your family sitting up too proud to speak, slow singing and flower bringing for what? Over something stupid, because you had no purpose in your life. Your life was not worth more than whatever was in front of your face at that time. Y'all remember when Remy mom went to jail for 7 years for stabbing that girl over $1,000? Did she stab her or shoot her? Whatever. Either way, it was over $1,000. $1,000? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not at a place in life where I couldn't appreciate $1,000. Like, you put $1,000 in my hand and tell me that it's my spending money, praise the Lord. Okay? I can appreciate $1,000. But I'm not at the point in my life where I'm going to go to jail for $1,000. Are you freaking kidding me? It's never that serious. And see, when you try to act like, oh, it's about my respect. It's about my respect. What kind of respect are you getting in jail? What kind of respect what respect do you want after you did that? Now everybody know you stupid? Everybody know not to deal with you? I remember I was talking to this guy, and I'm in my 20s, or was I in my 30s? No, 20, about to be 30, I think. And he's bragging to me about how I didn't snitch. I held it down and I went to jail. And I was just like, you think that's cute? Like, you think this is attractive? You're stupid. Because you went in jail and set yourself back all them 6-7 years. Meanwhile, the dudes that told on you is out here living their best life. Like, that's dumb. I don't know the purpose of a Nerf gun if I never consult with the creator of the Nerf gun. How do you know your purpose in life when you never consult with your creator? What purpose do you have that your creator did not get. And see, and then here's the other thing, right? Some of y'all will never know your purpose because you will not consult your creator. You will not lock into your gifts and talents. You won't turn the TV off. You won't put the phone down. You won't be still and be quiet and just let God lead you. You're just happy to float along and be content going along with whatever the world is doing when the wages of that is death. Please name me a black woman that's doing it out here. That's just really doing it out here that you believe is happily married. I'll give y'all Sierra. Because her and Russell, I believe in them. I'll give y'all Sierra. Anybody else? Anybody else? Even freaking Shirley Ralph. And I love her, right? She was D on Moesha, and now who's she playing on Abbott Elementary? Oh my gosh. What's her name on Abbott Elementary? I don't know. Okay, but we're talking about Shirley Ralph. She just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Her and her husband live 3,000 miles away. She has said, he has his life, I have my life. What? And I'm not saying everybody has to be married. Okay? What? Keep the chef. What? Did I say something? What'd I say? What is this? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me, sir? I know that's right. Let these artists be. Yeah, man, let me tell y'all, like, once you cross a certain point, your mind changes. You have your rules and your morals now because of the income level that you are at. But trust me, if some of y'all were to get to higher levels of income with the mindset that you have now, you would have no rules or regulations. You would be out here like the Roman emperors, feeling like any and everything is available to you and you should have whatever you want. This is when you find yourself in positions like your man Diddy, where you feel like, oh, I can pay for anything I want. I can have anything I want. The world is my oyster. This is how you wind up full of perversion. Men, women, boys, girls, whatever I want. Drugs, money, the guns and the hoes. Whatever I want, I can have it. And so once you reach that place, and you ain't even got to be the richest person in the world, right? But once you feel like you can pretty much afford whatever you want, and or you got enough money to go out here and make people do what you want them to do for you, any sense of godliness, any sense of morality will all but diminish if it does not totally disappear. You don't gotta believe me. You don't gotta believe me. Look at Katy Perry. She told y'all, yeah, I came in as a Christian. I was a Christian singer, and I wasn't selling any records and I wasn't making any money. And so I flipped. For what other reason than money would a gospel singer have Nicki Minaj on their album? For what other reason? Cause listen, her little bars, them little bars she laid down on your song is not gonna make a difference among the rest of her playlist. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. I was listening. I don't remember who I was listening to, but they were saying that in order for Black people to see a change in our standing, 3 generations would have to die off. And that is so freaking scary that we are that messed up that some people feel like there's no hope for us but for us to die off. Where are we crossing? Are we in the wilderness again? Are we in the wilderness again that a generation has to die off before we can progress? Why do we keep finding ourselves in the same situations as a group of people? Why does our condition as Black women just keep worsening? Remember, they gave us the welfare and told us to get rid of our men and that the government would provide for us and our children and keep us safe. And how's that turning out when they're slaughtering our children in the street at will? How's that turning out when they're building more private prisons because our children can't read? There's no way to get around the consequences of our disobedience but to turn back to God. What you are looking at is a consequence of disobedience. The condition of Black people in front of you is a consequence of disobedience. Did God ever tell us to integrate? Did God ever tell us to march and moan and complain and protest until these people let us sit in their restaurants with them? That was never indicated. And if you go back to the civil rights, because I told y'all how I like to study history, right? Oh, I'm over time. Okay, this last part, and I'm gonna wrap this up. I told y'all how I like to study history. I like to know the daily happenings. I like to know how a thing went from conception to actualization. So when I study the civil rights movement, I want to know, well, where did this come from? Like, who came up with this? How did it become a movement? And so at the time when the SCLC was out here trying to get momentum behind the civil rights movement, they went after the college students. They didn't talk to their parents because the parents were fine where they were. They was living their lives, working their jobs, doing their thing. They went after the college students and educated them. There's that word again, educated them on their need to integrate. And so they had the college students out there marching and getting beat on. It's always the young people, ain't it? It's always the young people. The generation of rappers, whatever horrible generation of rappers it is at that time, they're always targeting the young people, isn't it? Everything is directed to the young, because you old folks are already established in your thinking, but these young people can still be quote unquote educated. And in the course of our education, we have moved so far from God. We're literally like in a free fall state right now. I don't know what's going to happen to Black. I'm scared for my sons. I'm scared for my sons having to look for a wife out here. I really am. Because these girls that you see fighting online are raising children. They're raising the next generation of Black people. And that scares me, because if y'all are living like this in the street, how are you living at home? What are you teaching your daughters? It's so many hypersexualized little girls out here from looking at their mother. See, listen, some of y'all set y'all daughters up for the perverts to get to them. Some of y'all unlock the door for the perverts to get to them. Want to have them popping fans and doing dips and squats and everything else and twerking. There's no reason a child should be twerking at all. It's not cute. I don't want to see it on social media. And the fact that you don't have a problem with it makes me feel like you probably shouldn't have any more children. Gotta choose them battles wisely now. Just don't be worth it. It's not worth it. It's not. Like, I've never been a fighter anyway. I can count on like one hand how many fights I ever been in my life. And it was never because I started it, okay? I'm not a fighter. Look at me. Okay. But I don't argue with nobody. I'm not doing nothing because I know the point I'm at in my life where if I feel threatened, yeah, you better hope I can call the police. Like, that's what you should hope that I can do. Okay? And so I know how I think. And so I'm going to assume everybody else is thinking the same way. Right? So it's just not worth it at all because I know how I could end up. Indoctrinated, aka educated. It is scary now. It's very scary. I wanted y'all to see this video so bad. Oh, I can't believe that. I know I shared it. I did not put it on my timeline because I didn't want nobody to see that mess. It was some mess. Gosh, Lee, and I know I'm probably not gonna be able to find it right now because I'm looking for it. But there's a video of this grown man twerking. Hold on. I want to show y'all this. And then if I can find it. I didn't want to share it to my page, so I was like, oh, don't nobody want to see that. But I can't find it. But there's this man. He was a man. He had a beard and everything, but he had one of their kind of bathing suits on. I mean, a thong and stuff, and his butt cheeks is out, right? Butt cheeks out, everything. He's twerking at the pool and everything. And who is behind him cheering him on but two black women? I mean, cheering him on like he's a woman. Two black women. Yeah, it is scary out here. It's scary because y'all not fighting the trans men. That's one thing I say about white women. You're not coming over here with that crap. But not black women. Yeah, yes, girl. Y'all calling them girl and everything else and affirming the delusion that they're women. We gotta stop. We have to stop. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. Paxton! Oh, did you take a shower? No, you look sleepy. You okay? Yes. Did y'all have a good walk?
We didn't go so far.
Where'd y'all go?
We didn't tell you?
No, where'd y'all go? Oh, you went with Abby to her thing at her friend's house? What about Bethy? She went too?
No.
Where did Bethy go?
Bethy and Chloe went on a walk.
Oh, and you and Atticus went with Abby? Did y'all have fun? You ate? Was it good? Okay, awesome. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I hope something that I said was helpful, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Tomorrow, Lord willing, we will have our Sabbath class with Monologue and Gab presented by Fruit Forward Fellowship. That'll be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Please, if you are not following me on the socials, please follow me on the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and now Snapchat. Yes, that's right. Your girl is on Snapchat. I am snapping. Okay. Head over to the YouTube if you're not already there at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you would like to support what we have going on here at the House of Mono, please head over to the Cash App $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do, and each and every dollar is appreciated. I know that is y'all hard-earned money. Please understand, please know that everything that you donate to the House of Mono will be right back directed to ministry. We ain't out here buying no big cars or nothing like that. This money goes right back into ministry. So thank you in advance, and thank you to those of you who have given already. Why are you drinking my water? Get y'all nasty. Why do they do that to me all the time? It's not funny, Paxton. All right, guys. What else? Did I forget anything?
You forgot Atticus.
Why is Shira down here? Where is Atticus?
I don't know.
Oh, all right, we gotta go find Atticus. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. Listen, questions, concerns, comments, feel free to reach out to me, missmonosworld@gmail.com. Next week we will continue Thugs, Hoes, and Rappers. Hoes next week. Okay, next week we will be talking about hoes. All right, I love y'all so much. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune
submit.
in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on Messiah TV on Roku and Fire Stick.